Hey, welcome back to Gold Derby. I'm Christopher Rosen. I'm joined by Helena Zengel, the star of News of the World, Paul Greengrass's new movie with Tom Hanks. It's available now on video on demand services. We're available and stuff, and in some theaters as well. Helena, I wanted to start talking to you. It's a great film, great performance. I love the movie so much. I guess can you start a little talk about the audition process? I think I read that Paul was obviously to find this part was so important to the movie. So can you talk a little about your audition process? How you got involved, I guess.
Yeah, so I did one movie, or I did some movies, but the first movie or the one movie Paul Greengrass saw was Substance Crusher, which like kind of brought me there because I did that movie in 2017, 2018, or no, yeah, 2018, 2019, and then Paul saw me in that movie because it came on the Berlinale. And then he saw me thrilling because the producer saw me there, and the producer was like, "Oh yeah, you gotta see that movie. Do you want to, like, you're searching a girl? I think that would be great." And he was like, "Yeah, sure, let's do that." And then he saw the movie, and he always said, "Look what she can do with her eyes," which is very important in that role because Johanna does not speak that much, I'd say. Um, so he was kind of impressed, and then he asked me, or through my agency, I got the request to do in casting in Berlin. And then after that, I flew to London when Paul said, yeah, he wants to make in the second casting, where I actually met him at the second audition. And then, yeah, I got the role. I mean, it sounds so simple, but yeah.
What was the what was like the scene you auditioned with, or any was it something specifically from the film, or did he have you do something else? Like what was it?
Well, yeah, kind of. It was like a mix. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, so then you get the role. It's pretty great. I guess, like you said, like it's a very non-verbal performance. So it's a lot of your expressions and your, demeanor and stuff. I guess, can you talk a little about how you prepared for it? I guess I wanted to ask you two things. Like A, how you prepared for it from that point of view, and then like also what kind of research you did to like study, if you did like study like the era and stuff like that, that obviously takes place in, just post Civil War America. So different from your circumstances now and like the reality now. So I guess first, like
Yeah.
talk a little about like if you could, like, yeah, like the nonverbal part of it and how you kind of like prepared for that, I guess.
Yes, sir. So I prepared, sure, I read the script. I got to know the Indians or the Native Americans. We were later on close together and we spoke a lot. I had lessons for Kiowa, for the language. I had training for the culture and to understand the culture and their way of thinking in a circle and in a straight line like we do. And then, sure, I researched a lot. I did not know as much about the war, the Civil War, and that whole time in America when the white people took their land. So I sure needed to learn a lot about that right then. But I did, because sure, we had lots of Americans around us, and I could ask everybody and just learn some. And then I met Tom. We had many, many fittings for the clothes because they were very special and they were like exactly for me, like nobody else could go in there. And yeah, it was just great. And sometimes they actually had dresses where they had to sew it together and then cut it open because it would just have to fit, like, perfectly. So it took a long time to do that, but it was great. And then yeah, we just hang out a lot. We did makeup fitting, sure, like there was so much going on just before the movie started. And I got to know everybody. It was like 6 weeks before the movie started. I went to America, and I've never been there, so it was just like a different universe. It was just this, making this film was like I'm in another world because everything just gone so fast and it was so great and just
Yeah.
amazing.
What surprised when that was your first time in America? What surprised you about America when you got here, I guess?
Well, I mean, sure, I haven't seen quite like California and New York and stuff. I was more in the New Mexico, Santa Fe, Albuquerque side, but which really like surprised me was that cowboys are real. Like, I would never have thought that they're really like howdy ma'am, because you always see those movies and you're like, okay, yeah, they're in the movie like that, but in real life they aren't quite like that. But then when I first met them, they were like coming with his cowboy hats, and then with those big rattlesnake boots and their horses, and like, howdy ma'am, this is your horse. And I was like, oh well, okay, let's do this. And yeah, afterwards I talked to my grandparents and was like, grandma, they are real. Like, they're not only in a movie, they're real. And yeah, it was just so funny to see that this is really true.
That's wild. Yeah. So you mentioned like a horse. I mean, like you had like the movie. There's a lot of action in the movie. It seems like you're really doing a lot of these things. There's like your horses. You're riding horses and on wagons or buggies or whatever. Can you talk? It seems like a very physical performance. I mean, I guess like can you talk about that? I guess and the like was there a specific moment maybe from the action standpoint that you like love doing or were like kind of intimidated by and were excited to do? I guess.
Yeah. Well, sure, it was very exciting. We had everyday new experiments. We were on wagons. Sure, we had like, I think 2 or 3 wagons. We were on like every day. We hopped on, we hopped off, we walked with the horses through the prairie with all this camera equipment. And I just saw some pics of behind the scenes, and man, that was tough putting and getting that whole camera stuff and all those people up the hill. We had like rapes and ropes to get up because we needed to have something to hang on so we wouldn't fall down the cliff. So that was very, very, very well, what's the good adjective for that? It was just so powerful making this movie, and such a big experience and adventure. Like, every day was a new day. And I always had Tom on my side, which is a very great acting partner, and he's very funny and he makes jokes about everything. And sometimes I really needed to concentrate to not like fall off somewhere, because I was like laughing and hanging on that rock like, stop. And so yeah, sure, it was great to be with all those people. And then we had so many animals on set. We had goats, we had dogs, we had cats, we had chickens, we had cows, like cows with those big earrings.
Mm-hmm.
And then I needed to walk right with them, like through them. And my mom's heart was like beeping because they were like rocking like right beside me. And then people were like in the back of me, and they had very long ropes and stuff, and they were always like ha ha ha, so they wouldn't like attack me or anything. So this movie was just so fun, and yeah, I would never have thought it would be as great as it really was.
Yeah, I mean, watching it, it's wild because it's like there's so much. It's like it looks like it's all these things are like so real, like you said, like the real horses and the real, like in the real locations and stuff. It obviously makes it,
yeah,
like very fun.
yeah. And it was actually shot in a western city, city. And it was funny, or it is funny, because this western city was built way back in 19, or ask me what, I don't know, but way back. It was made for movies, and now you use it as a film set for history movies. So I thought, like, wow, that all those houses and everything survived, because I mean, well, there were many dust storms and rain and stuff, and then it all survived. It survived.
Yeah.
And it was just cool to shoot there, because
Yeah.
I was quite in a western city, and then there was all that mud sometimes when we shot in the rain. And like, I remember, there are always some places you remember when you shoot, and oh yeah, we go back there and there. And then I sometimes my moccasins fall off my foot, and like Tom was laughing at me because I didn't care. Like, when they were stuck in the mud, I was just walking along, and then we needed to get them out there and to wash them. And yeah, it was just an adventure, really an adventure.
Yeah.
And very fun to do.
You mentioned Tom, obviously, like he's so great, and I think your rapport with him is amazing. Can you talk about like like it sounds like you guys had some fun on the set, and like that's like, is that how you guys were able to build that, or did you guys like what kind of conversations did you have with him about the relationship of your characters, let's say?
Well, sure, yeah, our characters are kind of the same because they're both very lost, I'd say, and they're searching for home and hope and for love and for somebody to just talk to sometimes and to just have someone who's like your soulmate, because you need that, like we need that. We're all in kind of a way public people. We need at least someone we can talk to if we have any problems. And he lost his wife and she lost her family, so they create a new one together, which I think is like great, and they go on a journey. So they really connect each other. And yeah, Tom and me, like we had so much fun on set. And we still do, like we're talking in the phone or we're texting and sending emails about what we're doing right now, which I think is always like funny because I mean he has many things to talk about. He was in Australia and he told me about all those animals who live there. And yeah, it's just great that we have that close connection, because I would not have thought that. I thought like he would come in a Lamborghini with long black shoes and a pair of sunglasses, and then like hello, and then goes into his trailer and you don't see him only like in the scenes. But he, like, he came in jogging jeans, very loose pullover, and moccasins, and I was like, well, he's just normal, which was totally great. And yeah, you just imagine the time with him uh, is a dream, because he's very nice. He's really a gentleman, and he makes it very easy to like him. But he has a great character, and you can really like him because he's very funny.
Yeah, no, it's great. I think he is so good, and that's nice to hear, because I think the reputation he has is that he is very much like you're describing, like very kind and stuff. And so it's good to hear that he is like that. It's a
Yeah, I
real
can prove that. I
reputation.
can prove that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, this is a great performance. I guess, can you talk a little about, like, what do you hope to do like next? And like, obviously, this is a much different time than you would have imagined this movie coming out. We're all
Yeah.
stuck at home, and the pandemic has really kind of thrown things asunder. But like, like, what do you hope to do next? And like, like as a performer and stuff, I think you really, you obviously sky's the limit, let's say. But like, yeah, like, what are you hoping to do?
Well, I think I basically just take what comes and see what comes and just like, let it come. But sure, I like strong feminists with big roles and big stories and great acting partners. And we have some talkings with new producers and great movies, which I think will be great. And well, I think my dream is to someday fulfill and shoot my own book, which I'm writing right now. So that would be like my biggest dream right now. But sure, I want to do more Hollywood movies and
Yeah.
maybe some more German movies, and just get right in it and see which roles are nice for me. But I think like this intensive stuff and strong stuff is more my thing. But comedian and some kids movies would be great too. Like I think it's good. Uh, Actually, like an acting, because you can like find yourself, you discover yourself, because you know what you can do very great. So yeah, but like the biggest dream is to fulfill my own book into a movie.
Nice. That's great. I assume you've been working on that during quarantine and stuff. Like, is there any other stuff you've gotten to do here? Like, I know people have been like take up
Yeah,
hobbies and stuff. Anything that you started during the coronavirus quarantine that you didn't think you would?
yeah. I mean, I think like the favorite thing I do, the most favorite thing is sure going to the barn. I love horses. I love my horse. I love being there with friends as far as COVID allows it. But like in general, being at the barn is just amazing. I found love in skating actually with a skateboard. I just started, and I'm learning. I'm starting to learn an ollie, which I think would be great if I can it someday, because I think it's a good trick. And yeah, I do lots of face masks, which is fun. And I'm very a lot of time I'm outside. I like to write like in my own book as I do right now, and just watch some more movies to inspire myself. And I think it's called Behind the Horizon in English. Hinter dem Horizont in German with Robin Williams. I watched that movie to inspire myself, for example, for my book now, and yeah, doing some auditioning. So there are many things I can do. So I actually like to sew. I have my own sewing machine. I do it for like celebrating things, and yeah, I had some stuff, and sure, school was there too.
That's great. Yeah, my wife likes to sew also. She started that during this time as well. Listen, Helena Zengel, thank you so much for doing this. News of the World is out now, and a great movie, great performance. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You too.